Climbing Mount Everest can be life-threatening in normal conditions, but what happened over the weekend was anything but. And right now, hundreds of trekkers are stranded after a blizzard hit the area. This is a radar image. Just look at the size of this storm. This is the system that pummeled the Himalayas over the weekend, dumping heavy snow and rain. Exclusive video from the east slope of Everest shows these long lines, as you can see, of hikers and yaks climbing through knee-deep snow. Rescue teams had to give oxygen to climbers, even carry some people down the mountain on their backs. Reuters says some 300 people have now been guided to safety, but a high number of climbers were in the area when the storm hit because of an 8-day holiday in China. Survival expert Les Stroud joins me now. So Les, when we're looking at this, I think anybody thinks about Everest and knows this involves a lot of training. It is extreme, but add to that this unseasonable storm, this blizzard coming through. What are these trekkers facing right now?
Everything. Pretty much everything. You get asked a lot, or I get asked a lot anyway, about the most difficult places to survive. And what I like to point out is it's never about geography or location. I mean, sometimes it is a little bit, but mostly it's about temperature and weather conditions. And I will always stand by wind being the most difficult. And you combine rough wind, strong wind with either snow or rain, it's the worst possible physical scenario to deal with in the wilderness.
And October is actually peak season on Everest, I've learned today, right? The heavy snowfall, though, is highly unusual. You're talking about the wind as well. The other concern is that right now we're looking at the eastern face, which is, as I understand it, not as accessible as the northern route. How does all of that add up in terms of the challenge for the rescuers here?
Once again, I want to try to shy away from hyperbole, but it's about as rough as it can get in any kind of search and rescue situation. Now, this isn't so much search as it is rescue, but it doesn't take a lot of imagination to get around the concept of being on the side of a blustery mountain with frigid blowing blizzard winds and hundreds of people needing rescue, which means there are hundreds of people doing the rescues. And the equipment alone becomes, if not logistical impossibilities, extremely difficult to operate all kinds of rescue equipment in conditions like that. If I need to go on a rescue mission that's on the side of a mountain and it's 75 degrees and it was spring and all the rest of it, there's forgiveness time there. There's literally zero forgiveness time in a rescue like this because of the extreme conditions. There's no chance to relax when you're trying to do this kind of rescue.
As you point out, too, you have the sheer number of people here, which then just increases the number of those on the rescue teams that would be needed. I mean, just walk us through the difficulties for those rescuers, no matter how good their training, no matter how good their gear, what they're facing as well.
Boy, that's a long story I could get into, but I'll keep it brief for you. It really starts on the ground in the very beginning. Somewhere is a large base camp set up for base of operations, or possibly multiple ones, where people are scratching their head, discussing things, arguing with things, trying to figure out the best, most efficient, safest way to keep all of the rescuers safe, which is vital as well, to be able to get up and effect the rescue. So it comes right down to equipment and clothing and being able to transport all of these different aspects of a rescue. As I say, might be things such as stretchers or more ropes, warm material because people will be suffering from hypothermia. It's really a magnanimous effort on the behalf of the people who are undertaking it right now. If anybody can think of any difficulty to do with rescuing somebody in the wilderness, it's this is going on right now on Everest, all of those difficulties.
You know, we've seen stories in the last couple of years about the increase in the number of people who are attempting to summit Everest and the concerns that that brings in terms of traffic, safety concerns for that. There are also environmental concerns. As you look at the sheer number of people who are stranded in this moment, does that add further fuel to that fire that perhaps this should be more limited?
Yeah, wow, you're really touching on something that is a personal part of mine. It's been a strange thing, hasn't it? Since the pandemic, there was an explosion of people going out into the wilderness and getting onto these adventures. That actually was part of what happened as a result of the pandemic. Now we're past that, and what you have are a lot of people who are still keen on all of this adventuring, and what's lacking is education. One of the things, if I remember correctly, for example, that one of the trails in Peru, one of the Incan trails, is limited. I know for myself that traveling on the Nahanni River in Canada, the numbers are limited. Though those limitations are absolutely necessary. They are the saving grace to keeping a place wild, natural, unspoiled, and safe. At some point, a place becomes so popular that the popularity becomes detrimental to its own self, so to speak. And yes, I personally would think it's vital that places as popular as Mount Everest require some limiting.
Les, really good to have you with us this hour. Thank you.